Hi, it's Des back with another video. So I mentioned in the last video I was going to talk about the way we switch up the 4-3-3 to a back three when we're chasing the game, be that a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, just to like become more offensive when we're chasing games. Yeah. So I'm just going to show just some of that, just to show some of the positives of that switch and what we're trying to do with that. So just here as we look at it right now, we look at this is the 4-3-3 that we normally start with. So we have this the 4-3-3 that we start with. So the whole point of all of this is we're stretching the pitch in the wide areas to create width in the wide areas just to stretch the pitch. We're also creating the possibility of being able to go long. So if you look at this, when we stretch the pitch, we don't always have to play a short pass to get through. We can play the long pass to the wide area, play the long pass to that wide area, play the long pass to the striker over there who's stretching the pitch and going and trying to make runs in behind. Also, we're creating space centrally because when you stretch the pitch, their fullback has to go with him, the other fullback has to go with him, and you're creating space there, you're creating space there. So there's a lot of space centrally that these guys can use to attack. These guys can use to attack. Do you get it? And these guys can build up. Obviously, we know that the fullbacks get up here as well to try and support them. We know that our centre backs are going to push up as well, and the fullbacks are going to go up there to support them in the build up. So space is created essentially because you stretch the pitch, you stretch the opposition wide, and you stretch them that going that way as well. So another thing is this: once that's all stretched there, you also create a possibility to attack the spaces in behind as well. You can attack them through you play the short passes, Maybe you play it along this side and get to this side. The player on this side can make a run in behind, and you can play the ball across. So it gives you the possibility to attack space in behind. He can attack space in behind. He can attack space in behind. The same here and the same here. Regardless of what side the ball is in, they can attack the space in behind. So that's the whole point of this. When we do switch to the what's it called, the 3-4-3, it ends up being the same thing. Not when we go play with the 4-3-3 or the 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, it's still the same tasks that these players have. So with the midfielders, we go back to the midfielders. Their aim as well is to overload the central areas, again attack the spaces centrally, and then to support us with building up play. So they're supported with the centre backs, the full backs, and each other to build up play centrally. Obviously, at times Jesus drops deep to support them, but the whole point of them is to use the space that's been created centrally to build up play here and attack space centrally. That's the whole point of the central plays here. So nothing changes. So let's say we change this to the 3-4-3. When we make a few changes and we go. Let's say we go to a 3-4-3 and we bring on Nketiah as well. So we have the centre back here. Let's say it's Ben White or Tomiyasu. They can always play in the back three because they're naturally centre backs anyways. So you've got, say you get Ben White, Tomiyasu there. You have Gabriel here, or Saliba here, and you have Gabriel here. Then you have for example, you could have, let's say we have Xhaka here, we have Odegaard here, and we have Vieira there, and we have Nketiah here with Jesus. So it can be a 3-5-2 or it can be a 3-4-3. Say Odegaard moves up instead and supports him there. That's a 3-4-3. Or say he drops back there and comes in here, is a 3-5-2. So it's still the same. It's still the same task that they have to do. Now there's a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. The wide areas still have to stretch the pitch. The strikers still have to stretch it, attacking channels, or making runs in behind, just to make sure the defenders can't just push up, because if they push up, the space in behind. And as I mentioned before, we can always go long. If the defenders decide to push up, we can go long here, we can go long to these guys here, go long to the strikers, go long to the winger right there. So all we've literally done is brought on another striker to support these runs that the wide players are making, as well as the ones that Jesus is making. We brought on more players that can attack the space behind. The midfielders still have the same task, which is to use the spaces that essentially that's been created by the strikers stretching the pitch and the wingers stretching the pitch wide, to use the central areas here to build up play and create chances for them, create chances for them, create chances for them. So nothing's changed. So in terms of so for me, when I look at it, the way we play, when we start with a 4-3-3 or we use a back three to chase the game, for me, I like the way we do it. The only concern, as I mentioned in the previous video, is the lack of depth in these areas. because we don't have enough options there to change the game. At the moment, the only players that can do that right now is Saka and Martinelli. Of course, Marquinhos did well in the Europa League game, so hopefully he becomes a third option, which then allows us to be able to switch things up. We can change. We don't always have to use Saka every single game. We don't always have to use Martinelli every single game, because if we have to bring on Marquinhos, Saka can move to the left and offer width on the left-hand side, and Marquinhos can be the one on the right doing that. The same way Saka, Martinelli can stay, Saka can go off, and Marquinhos can come in there if he's able to offer this. But that's where we lack. That's where we lack depth. We lack depth in the aspect of this in these sides, in the wide areas in terms of the wingers, and we lack depth in this side, because even if it becomes a 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, let's say it's a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, this player here still has the responsibility to be a bit closer to the defensive mid. Because because if we lose the ball, the way we defend like in a 4-4-2. So but if we're defending this way, he will have to come back. He will have to drop back. We can't just leave him by himself. Someone is gonna have to support him. So that person will most likely be one of the two centre mids. That even if it's a 3-5-2, one of them will have the responsibility to come back here when we're defending, to ensure that we're defending in, say, a 5 like that, 5 there, and we have these guys come back here and come back here like that. So we're always gonna have the responsibility. Someone's always gonna have the responsibility to be the centre mid that defends here. So therefore, at the moment, we only have Granit Xhaka that can play that role. Obviously, we've got Lokonga that can do it, but for me, that's a bit too defensive. If you're playing with Lokonga and Xhaka and Partey and Elneny, is very, very defensive. You want someone who at least can go box to box. Yes, you want him to be in position defensively, but when you're not defending, you want him to be able to move forward and support these guys as they're going forward. He can also support them as well. You know what I mean? So you want the profile of a player that can support them, but can also come back here and defend as well. More of like a box to box type of player. So for me, I like the way we've been switching between the 3-4-3, the 4-3-3, and the 3-5-2. I think it's working really well. We just need to improve on our depth. Thank you. See you in the next video.